Highlights of the news for Wednesday, January 6, 2021. A new segment I'm going to start doing on a daily basis on my YouTube channel for Josh Scanlon, not my Heritage Wealth Planning one. This is my YouTube channel. And today we're going to read from Don Server's blog, and I will come to him quite a bit. Don Server is from West Virginia. I'm a big fan of Don, an old media guy, old newsman. And I agree with Don quite a bit, actually. So his first thing he talks about Trump is still our president. Highlights of the news, Dems, and he's citing Drudge Report here. So let's read this. I think this is pretty cool actually because we gotta go here. Click on that. All right. And there's my man Don right there. He's a retired newspaperman. He wrote 3 books on Trump and the media. He grew up in Polka, West Virginia. He lives in Polka, West Virginia with his wife of 43 years. He grew up in Cleveland. Recently promoted to grandfather. If you see me driving my red 210 Mustang GT convertible, please give him a wave. All right. So item 1, Democrats won 2 more elections in Georgia. This time, Republicans in Washington are upset because with majority control, Democrats have no use for the rhinos. There is no need to flip Murkowski, Toomey, Collins, or Romney. And I actually went on to say Richard Burr, too, in North Carolina. This was Chuck, or even, there's another guy, I'm just drawing a blank. This was Chuck Schumer's backup plan. Democrats always flip lame duck rhinos. Jim Jeffords of Vermont ran for re-election as a Bush 43 supporter, and then he flipped parties shortly after Bush took office, handing the Senate back to Democrats in 2001. Specter of Pennsylvania flipped parties to give Democrats a supermajority to make Obamacare a reality. But now no one in the Benedict Arnold wing of the Republican Party will collect their 30 pieces of silver, especially Toomey, man. I mean, the thing about Toomey is that he was ripe to go. He's ripe to get paid. Toomey would have been the most successful person in D.C. had the Republicans won. I'm just telling you right now. And Don Server says, boo-hoo-hoo. Actually, I do want to read back what he said yesterday, my man Don, about right here, the case against the Republican Senate. Let's read this right here. The Republican, Tim Scott, was on Fox News to drum up votes for Georgia, in Georgia for the Republican Party. He said, vote for Republican for Donald Trump's sake. The only way we lose on Tuesday if we don't show up, we owe it to our past 4 years and the future that we win in 2021. It is more consequential than anything we've ever seen in our lifetime from a political perspective. And Don says, no, this is not the most consequential election in our lifetime. The 2008 was more consequential when Democrats used Obama to win the White House, and Republicans only offered token resistance. Bill Kristol and others pushed for Sarah Palin to be on the ticket, and the Republicans mocked and humiliated her. Yep. Was it a coincidence that those same people who pushed for Sarah, pushed hardest for her, became never Trumpers 8 years later? So yeah, why was that? So the same people who hated Sarah Palin, who loved Sarah Palin 8 years later, they pushed hard to be anti-Trump. 2016 was more consequential as well. Many Republican senators, McCain and Flake, led the crowd against Republicans, against Donald Trump, while others are passive-aggressive in their opposition. After President Trump took office, Republicans allowed Democrats to slow walk approval of President Trump's appointees. Then the Republicans did not appeal Obamacare after promising to do so. Republicans never funded the wall, and Paul Ryan ditched the speakership in an effort to saddle President Trump with Speaker Pelosi. Oh, how Ryan must have laughed when she impeached him. Based on their track record, Republicans will be little more than a speed bump on that highway to hell that Democrats are steering us towards. A Republican Senate amplifies the power of Mitt Romney, Murkowski, Susan Collins, and all the other never-Trumpers. Could not agree with that more. Enable them to sell their swing votes to the highest bidder. Why reward Romney for being a two-faced skunk? Tim Scott is correct when he says President Trump is standing in the fire, but I don't see Scott's name on the list of senators standing with him. McConnell isn't there, Romney isn't there, and they dare ask for our votes while allowing Democrats to have the most honorable and clean election uncontested. The consequential election was on November 3rd. Tuesday is just decided whether Pat Leahy or Chuck Grassley will be president pro tempore. Republicans can vote Democrat or Georgia or not vote at all. I really don't care. Do you? And there's Melania. Really don't care. Do you? Yeah, couldn't I tell you, man? I'm not going to hear any qualm from me. All right, let's see what else is highlights of the news here. Let's keep going. All right. Item 2, Fox reported that the Wisconsin police officer involved in the shooting of Jacob Blake last year will not face criminal charges. The officer was Rustin Shesky, and other officers will not be charged. It's a narrow. Gravely said. Gravely, who is the attorney, the Kenosha County District Attorney, said Blake was armed with a knife that was not visible in the video footage and admitted to having one during the incident. Statements that he was unarmed contradict what Blake actually said. Mark Dice tweeted that Jacob Blake should be in jail for resisting arrest, assaulting police officers, and sexual assault on a woman. Yep, I agree. Kyle Rittenhouse pleaded not guilty to all charges. It's difficult to travel from Illinois to Wisconsin without crossing state lines, but free people do not need passports to travel from Illinois to Wisconsin. And free people can bear arms and defend themselves when confronted by violence. Another thing, too, why don't we give some reciprocity, whatever that word is, for being able to Second Amendment to carry across state lines. Again, what do Republicans do? Let's see. The Wall Street Journal claimed, citing one person familiar with the matter, that the communist regime governing North Korea formally submitted a request to participate in a global plan to distribute the Chinese coronavirus vaccines, despite insisting it has not confirmed a single case of the coronavirus. Kim Jong-un does not need COVID-19 to lock down his state. It already is, hence 0 deaths. Andrew Cuomo and the rest needed COVID-19 to lock down their states, thus a bunch of COVID-19 deaths in New York. UPI reports that South Korea saw its COVID death toll pass 1,000 on Tuesday, but health officials are saying that the curve appears to be flattening on a third wave of the virus that has been spreading since mid-November. What did they say? The Korea is what we should follow? The Korea Disease Control Agency reported 26 new deaths and 715 new infections Tuesday. The daily cases mark a steep decline from what was on Monday. The South Koreans have no dog in this hunt, so I believe them. COVID-19 is a terrible way to die. I don't want it, but lockdown's a terrible way to live. I don't want that either. All right, we got CBS reports a breach of air traffic control sends chilling threat as revenge for killing of Iranian general. The story said the threat refers to Qasem Soleimani, the Iranian general killed last year in a U.S. drone strike by the Trumpster. It was made on the one-year anniversary of his death, for which Iranian officials have vowed revenge. It is unclear who sent the threat. All right, sources told CBS that the Pentagon and other agencies were briefed Tuesday about the digitized voice recording. The sources say they believe the threat was designed to suggest hitting the Capitol on the same day as Congress is set to count the electoral college votes. Isn't that today? Gasoline bumped up to $2.29 a gallon in the greater Polka, West Virginia area. That is up 30 to 30 cents since September. This is a good sign because if gasoline prices fall too low, refineries shut down. And when a factory closes, it's difficult to get it back up. I received my Exxon bill for December. It showed I bought no gasoline for both our cars. The lack of sunny days to drive the top down and being retired are the reasons for the shutout. But the pandemic panic puts many people who should be working in the same situation. Many are unemployed and others are working from home. We need to open up. Yeah. Apple's board of directors regularly discusses antitrust risks, the company said on Tuesday. The language, which is new in this year's proxy, highlights how regulatory pressure and antitrust issues have become a significant risk for Apple. Interesting. Apple doesn't have the same antitrust issues that rival companies such as Facebook and Google have, but they do have. Tim Cook testified alongside their CEO in front of Congress last year about those topics. Cook wanted to unpeel Apple from the antitrust legislation or investigation. Slip $1 million to $100 and watch the problem disappear. Exactly, man. Of course, if Apple ever crosses red China, a Democrat DOJ will nail Apple. It looks like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West are divorcing. Jim Kinsey reports that Bills fans are so enraged with Cuomo and his plan to attend Saturday's game that they're hammering away at a change.org to ban the Corona Bro from attending. Petition organizer Jeffrey Dorenzo says, so Cuomo's going to attend our playoff game after telling us we can only attend at 10% capacity? If he thinks he has a moral right to a seat in that stadium over people who have waited for 20 years, then people better be there to protest. This is our team, it's our home. We don't want you here. All right. Let's see. The Philadelphia newspaper reported the new session of Pennsylvania Senate got off to a chaotic start with Republicans refusing to seat a Democratic senator whose election victory has been certified by state officials. Wow. That means that Republicans are actually stepping up a little bit. Let's see. The Democrat Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman from presiding over the session. The Republicans they kept him from doing that. They did so because they did not believe Fetterman was following the rules. Democrats in turn responded by refusing to back Senator Jake Corman from assuming the chamber's top leadership position, an unusual maneuver in what is often a largely ceremonial bipartisan vote. Bipartisan now means being an accomplice to the left. Yeah, exactly. I'll stop there. Let's see. President Trump signed an executive order banning transactions with 8 Chinese connected apps. Okay. This should have been done 45 days ago. Oh, well, term 2 is as good as any time to get her done. All right. Alan Dershowitz says news media took President Trump's comments out of context during a call with the Georgia election officials. Yeah, of course they did. Amazon announced its first ever purchase of Boeing aircraft, expanding its fleet to continue to serve customers. We are turning passenger planes into cargo planes. The lockdown means people won't fly, but their junk will. Yep. We have traded our freedom for junk from Red China, delivered by Amazon. 2021 is merely year 2 of 2020. Could not agree more. A few days, why did Jack Ma has lost his corporate empire and his 12 billion of net worth after criticizing the CCP? Man. Toronto Sun, a would-be porch pirate ran into some trouble when he was caught in the act, then got caught in a snowbank while trying to flee the scene, all the while being heckled by the person he was allegedly trying to rob. That's funny. France 24 reports Mexico said that it was ready to offer political asylum to Julian Assange. Just pardon the man and be done with the case, says Don. Exactly. He has been locked up in embassies and the like for a decade. Hillary was never charged for selling state secrets via her 33,000 emails. The rule of law requires the Assange be pardoned as well. All right. Some Utahns who flew to the Capitol had a VIP on board. Mittens himself was there. What? Mitt Romney heckled during flight to D.C. Patriots chant, traitor. Oh, man. All right, that's good. Cleveland Browns fans raised and rallied enough money to send a lifelong fan to see his team play one last time. Tom Seipel, a husband, has been battling kidney cancer for the last 3 years. In the past few weeks, he was placed in hospice. They raised $20,000 to bring him from Georgia to Cleveland for the Sunday game because they made the playoffs the first time since 2002. Where did he and his dad sit? Emily Mayfield, the wife of the Browns quarterback, heard that Tom was flying to the game, and he offered him her sweet tickets so he and his father wouldn't have to watch the game in the cold. That's fantastic. There you go. So that's news of the day. Big fan of Don Serber. Just donserber.com, and you should subscribe to his website. All right, we'll see you guys.